Greetings and welcome to another Canvas tutorial. Today we're going to look at the quiz feature in Canvas, and in my opinion one of the best features that you will find in Canvas. The data reporting is just something phenomenal, and it just makes your life as a teacher so much easier once you're able to get some quizzes into Canvas. So in order to start this tutorial, we're going to get to our home page, which is where we are now, and then we're going to go over to the left hand side and click on quizzes. If you've created quizzes before, you'll see them here on this screen. If not, that's okay, because we're going to create one together, and you're gonna just absolutely love it. I promise. Top right hand corner here, we're going to click on Add a Quiz, and you'll notice that you'll get a screen here that allows you to edit the settings of your quiz. So we're going to go ahead and give this a title, and we're going to call this the Joe Lamb Quiz number 1. You notice down here in the settings tab you have a option to add quiz instructions. So these can be text instructions. If you wanted to do a YouTube video, you could even add a video. You can add a hyperlink, pictures, all kinds of stuff. So very pleasant instructions there. Notice that there are some options for quiz types. So we have a graded quiz, which will put a grade into Canvas. We have a practice quiz, which will not put grades into Canvas and allow the students to retake the quiz as many times as they desire. There are also two surveys that are possible as well. A graded survey, once the students complete the questions, they will get points. An ungraded survey, kids won't get points. So you've got a couple of options here depending on the quiz that you want to do. Notice down here there are some options to shuffle the answer choices, which is a nice feature. Be careful about anything that says all of the above or both A and B, as it will shuffle those into the mix as well. You can impose a time limit, so we're going to give them about 10 minutes for this. You can allow multiple attempts, and if you do so, you can choose to keep the highest, latest, or average score. There's a couple options there. And you can give them as many attempts as you like, 1, 2, 3, so on. Here's a little tricky part. Depending on how secure you want your test content to be, you can let the students see their quiz responses after they take the quiz. Depending on your comfort level, you can allow them to do that. It will give them access to the questions after they take the quiz. They could conceivably screenshot those and send those to friends, so just be a little careful about test security, and if that's something you're comfortable with. You can actually uncheck this or let them see it and let them see the correct answers at a certain date. So they still would be able to see them. It would just wait until after everyone has taken the quiz. So keep in mind these tabs let students see their responses. We'll let them see their choices and whether they got them right or wrong. You can do it after their final attempt or once after each attempt. So they see it once and then they won't see it again. You can let students see the correct answers only after the last attempt. Or you can choose to show them and hide them at a certain date. Highly recommend that, especially if you have kids that are absent. It will not allow the students who have taken it to show the kids that are absent until a certain date. You can show one question at a time, so that way each individual question pops up one at a time. Great for younger grades, especially those that may be overwhelmed with seeing a lot of different answers or a lot of different questions at one time. Always recommend requiring an access code, a quick little password that they have to type in order to access the quiz. And of course you can assign it a due date. Highly recommend available from as well, especially if you're doing something by period. So if you've got like a big unit exam during second period, you can actually make it available between the time the class starts and the time the class ends. So that way they won't be able to get into it before and they won't be able to go back and get into it afterwards. So you can ensure that all the kids are taking the test at that particular time. So a lot of different options, a lot of different features here in the settings tab. We're going to go ahead and move on to questions. And there are really two different ways that you can get questions into a quiz. You can just add questions one at a time, create a new question. You can also create a question bank and then import questions from that bank. We'll talk a little bit more about question banks and creating quizzes from those in a later video. Right now, we're going to focus on creating just a simple quiz, one question at a time. In order to do so, we're going to click on New Question. Here you see several options for creating your question. You can change the title of it to be something other than question, and you have plenty of options available for what type of question you want to use. We'll go through a few of these just to show you some of the options that are available in Canvas. You can also assign it a unique points value. In this box here, this is where we would type the question. However, there are other options as well. You can add a table, hyperlink, picture. You can even insert a math equation. There's a math type function in Canvas that will allow you to type math equations and have students solve them and place the answers in Canvas. We're just going to do a standard multiple choice question. Here, type in your answer choices. The green arrow indicates the correct answer, so you want to make sure that that is selected on the correct answer. These little boxes down here actually allow you to add text if a student selects an incorrect answer. So at the end of the quiz, they would be able to see, if they don't know it's basketball, you could tell them to look at page 258 in the textbook. It's a way of remediation. It's a way of making sure that students know where they can find the correct answer. When you're done looking at it, you can update the question. You can always add another answer choice if you want, because I know that a lot of AP, if you want to do some AP practice, they have 5 answer choices. You can also delete answer choices. Deleting answer choices is a great feature, especially for those quizzes that you need to make that are modified with only 3 answer choices instead of 4. When you're finished, select Update Question. And now you can go through and create many, many new questions. Let's look at a numerical answer. With a numerical answer, you can actually tell it to have an exact answer, so it has to be 8. Or you can give it within a range, say between 7.5 and 8.5. Or you can give it with precision. Depending on how many digits. So you think like in chemistry, you do totally rock some significant figures with this, which is really kind of cool. So I'm going to just give it a range. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go exact because hopefully people know that that's 8. And we'll update that question as well. Last question choice I'll show you is just the fill in the blank. And one thing to keep in mind is that it is case sensitive. So like if they're filling in the blank and they type it in without the capital letter, they will count it wrong. In addition, it needs to be I would highly recommend that you add several different incorrect spellings just in case they spell it incorrectly. So I'll type in a couple of answers just in case. And that way, even though they may get the gist of the answer, if they spell it incorrectly, they'll still get the point for it. So once we're done with all of this, you can click Save. If you want to rearrange the order of the questions, there's little 8 buttons. Looks like a little 8 little dots over here. Click and drag. You can change the order of the questions. When I'm done, I will click Save. And when I'm really ready, I will click Save and Publish. That way the kids will have access to it. If at any time you want to actually go through and look at the quiz, there's actually a preview button at the top. If you ever want to preview a quiz, you can always see that there's a preview question at the top. If you select that, you will see the exact student view of the quiz. And you can go through and take it to make sure that the answers are correct. And it will give you a score. So just for practice, you can see the top right hand corner, I got a 3 out of 3. So now you can see how to create a quiz, how to preview a quiz. Let's get to the best part, which is the quiz data. So here's an example of a quiz over the executive branch. And you'll notice it looks a little bit different than the quiz we looked at before. In the top right-hand corner, you see 3 new buttons: Quiz Statistics, Moderate this quiz, and Speed Grader. Speed Grader will allow you to go through and look at individual questions that students have answered. So for example, if you had an essay question you needed to grade, you would go into Speed Grader and grade that in order to tally up the final quiz results. Quiz Statistics and Moderate this quiz will be the 2 major features we'll look at for the last part of this video. I'm going to select Moderate this quiz, and you'll look at the host of options that are available. Here you can see each individual student, how many attempts they've performed, how long it took them to finish the quiz, and how many attempts they have left, as well as their score. If I click on an individual student, I can see which questions they've gone through and correctly answered or incorrectly answered. This allows me to look at some individual student data. If I click over on the pen, this allows me to individually give students extra attempts or give them extra time. The time is very useful for students who need extended time based on their IEPs. And as you can see it for all of your students. You can always click next to see the other set. Let's now take a look at quiz statistics. And this is where you're going to get Quiz Statistics provides a variety of information that will help you meet your individual students' needs. It takes a little bit of time to load, so we're going to go ahead and give it a minute. Once the quiz statistics have loaded, you can see the average score, high score, low score, and average time. You can see how many students scored within a certain percentage on the graph. Here, 34 students scored between a 98 and a 100%. If we scroll down, we also get a question breakdown. Here you can see what percentage of students answered questions correctly and incorrectly. I can see that 12 out of my 14 students selected this answer correctly. One student answered this, and another student answered this question. And another student answered this question choice. You can also look at individualized data by clicking the button in the top right corner. So you can actually click and see which individual students responded with which answer choice. Again, this provides a great tool for you to be able to look at which questions students seem to struggle and then be able to reteach or go back based on the information from the quiz. So it provides a large variety of resources for you as a teacher to differentiate your instruction. This also demonstrates a great tool. This is also a great tool for data analysis and data-driven instruction. So as you can see, there's a lot that you can use with the quiz feature in Canvas. And there's far more that I could talk about in just one video. Even up here, you have Excel reports that can be generated for student and item analysis if you're looking at diving into the data even more. So take an opportunity, build a quiz, and see how it turns out. Utilize the data to drive your instruction and help meet your individual student needs. As always, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to help you.